A home services company owner opened his mail one morning last fall and found an IRS notice for $35,000 in unpaid payroll taxes, penalties, and interest. He thought it was a mistake. He ran payroll every 2 weeks through QuickBooks Payroll. He filed his 941s every quarter. He thought everything was handled. It wasn't. A tax table setting in QuickBooks had been configured incorrectly when he added a new pay type 6 months earlier. For 6 months, his payroll was being processed at the wrong federal withholding rate. He'd been underpaying the IRS on every single payroll run, and nobody caught it until the IRS sent the notice. I'm Bev from bookkeepingcoach.net and Can-Am Bookkeeping. Payroll taxes are not a place for guessing or hoping the software got it right. In 30 years of bookkeeping, payroll tax penalties are some of the most painful I see. Because by the time you find out, you're months behind and penalties are piling up, and the correction is complicated. With the Q2 payroll tax deadline approaching on June 15th, right now is the time to make sure your payroll is right before you make another deposit. He ran a residential HVAC and plumbing company, about $1.3 million in revenue, 11 employees, including 4 subcontractors he'd recently reclassified as W-2 employees after a compliance review. That reclassification was the starting point of the problem. When he onboarded the 4 newly classified employees into QuickBooks Payroll, he created a new pay type for the compensation, a flat weekly rate rather than hourly. When he set it up, he selected a tax treatment option that slightly underwithheld federal income tax and miscalculated the employee's share of Social Security. The difference per payroll run looked small, maybe $200 to $400 off. But over 12 pay periods, it added up. At the same time, because he'd added these 4 employees mid-year, his 941 filings looked more complicated than usual. When his bookkeeper compared wages reported to taxes deposited, the variance was there, but she attributed it to the mid-year start dates and didn't investigate further. His quarterly 941s were filed with the wages calculated from the QuickBooks Payroll. The tax deposits matched those filings. Both were consistently wrong, and consistently wrong in the same direction. The IRS compared what was deposited against what the employee's W-2s should have shown and flagged the discrepancy. The breakdown of the $35,000 notice, $21,400 in underpaid federal income tax withholding, $8,600 in employer Social Security underpayment, $3,200 in failure to deposit penalties, $1,800 in interest. He also had to issue corrected W-2s for all 4 employees, which created filing complications and potential issues for those employees' personal tax returns. And here's what made it worse. The error lived inside a pay type setting that looked correct in the interface. The tax table said it was calculating. The payroll confirmation screen showed numbers. Everything looked like it was working. He had no reason to suspect anything was wrong. He trusted the software. The software was configured wrong. QuickBooks Payroll automates a lot, but automated doesn't mean correct. The software calculates based on how it's configured. If the configuration is wrong, the calculations are wrong, automatically and consistently. Here's what to verify before your next payroll run. 1, every pay type has the correct tax treatment assigned. Regular wages, overtime, bonuses, allowances, commissions, reimbursements, each has different tax implications. In QuickBooks, each pay type has a tax treatment setting. Review every pay type you use and confirm it's set correctly, especially any you've added in the last 12 months. 2, your 941 deposits match your 941 filings, which match your payroll reports. These 3 numbers should reconcile perfectly every quarter. If your deposits and your filed 941 match, but your QuickBooks payroll summary doesn't match both of them, something is wrong. 3, employee W-4 information is entered correctly and is current. Federal withholding calculates based on what the employees provided on their W-4. If the W-4 data in QuickBooks doesn't match the paper W-4 withholding, it's wrong. This is especially common after new hires or life events when employees submit updated W-4s that don't make it into the system. 4. State tax settings match your state requirements. State payroll tax rules change. If you haven't reviewed your state tax setup in the past year, changes in rates or wage bases may not have updated correctly in your system. 5. Your payroll liabilities account reconciles monthly. In QuickBooks, every payroll run creates liabilities. Federal withholding owed, Social Security owed, Medicare owed, state taxes owed. These liabilities should decrease when you make your tax deposits. If your payroll liabilities account keeps growing without decreasing when you deposit, something isn't connecting correctly. 6. If you've added employees, pay types, or changed compensation structures in the last 6 months, go back and verify the first payroll run after that change. That's where configuration errors are most common and most likely to have been running uncorrected ever since. With the Q2 payroll tax deposit deadline on June 15th, where does this leave you? Option 1, file and deposit based on whatever QuickBooks shows you, and trust the setup is correct. If the configuration is right, you're fine. If there's an error you haven't found, you're filing and depositing the wrong amounts, and the IRS will eventually let you know with penalties. Option 2, pull your 941 for Q1 and compare it to your QuickBooks Payroll Summary Report for the same period. The totals should match exactly. If they don't, you have a discrepancy you need to understand before you file Q2. Option 3, get the training to understand how payroll taxes work in QuickBooks, what to verify in your setup, and how to catch configuration errors before they compound into a $35,000 IRS notice. Payroll tax compliance is not optional. The IRS treats payroll tax underpayment as one of its highest enforced priorities because it's money withheld from employees' paychecks that belongs to the government. Getting it wrong isn't just an accounting problem, it's a legal one. If what you just heard sounds familiar, you're in the right place. At bookkeepingcoach.net and Can-Am Bookkeeping, we have courses designed specifically for small business owners who want to understand their numbers, protect their business, and stop finding out about expensive problems too late. Step-by-step training from 30 years of real-world experience. No judgment, no jargon, just practical knowledge that saves you real money. Head on over to bookkeepingcoach.net or canambookkeeping.com and find the course that fits you where you are right now. The link is in the description below. Subscribe for more QuickBooks and financial management tips, and I'll see you in the next video.